A very warm welcome to the second episode of Medically Speaking. Now, let me first of all start by saying a big thank you for the reception you gave my first episode. I'm super grateful. I got a lot of feedback, and the interesting thing is I already have people sending me stories in items that they want me to cover, because really there's no current affairs program dealing with medical issues, and so the reception has been great, and I'm super grateful. I know it's going to get bigger from here on. So if you also have a story or an issue that you want me to cover, to bring some clarity to, do leave it in the comment section or inbox me on any of my social media channels. I'll leave it in the description as well, so that you can link up and we can address some of these issues, because indeed we do need a professional opinion on some of these things so that we can bring clarity. Too many ignorant people out there, giving opinions about things they really don't understand, and I hope that I can bring some clarity to certain situations. And so once again, you're welcome. My name is Dr. Kelvin, and I'm happy that you are here on Medically Speaking, the only current affairs program out there that has a health twist to it. And today we are going to bring you some other stories making the waves over the past week. So, welcome back. Now let's get into it. First of all, if you have not subscribed to my channel, do subscribe and activate the notification icon so that every time new content comes up, you get notified. You're welcome. Let's do this. So, in the headlines, suicide attempt has been decriminalized, and that's some great news. We're also going to discuss Galamsey and Professor Frimpong Boateng's take on all that's happening in that sector. I'm sure you've been watching the news and you know what's going on. Then you're going to talk about abandoned ships compounds. Oh my goodness. It's depressing sometimes. And of course, you're going to wrap it up by talking about Arsenal. We can't leave here without talking about Arsenal. I'm sure you're wondering what's medical about Arsenal. We'll get there, so stick and stay. Those are the headlines. Now, to our first story. Suicide attempt has finally been decriminalized. Now, this is great news in the medical community, in fact, in the whole world. You see, because it has been quite an interesting journey where people who are frustrated, tired, mentally challenged, or having one issue or another decide to take their lives. They are not successful, and then they get found out, and instead of getting them help, they are sent to police station and rather prosecuted and end up in jail. And yes, people have ended up in jail over suicide attempts. It doesn't really make sense. Speaking from a medical perspective, we know that a significant majority of people who attempt suicide or are actually successful with suicide have had or are currently dealing with a mental issue at the time when they actually attempt the suicide, which means that they need medical intervention, not a court intervention. And so we are excited that we have come to this point where suicide attempt has been decriminalized. I actually had a chance to speak to a colleague, a specialist psychiatrist, on this matter. Let's hear what he says. Was there a need to change the law regarding suicide?
There was a need, and it took 10 years to. The law was based on the English common law, which presumed that your life didn't belong to you. Over 98% of people who have attempted suicide have underlying mental disorder. The attempted suicide actually is a cry for help, because they may not necessarily wish to die, but just that the condition in which they are, they don't see a way out. So yes, there was the need for the law to be changed.
So, but don't you think that now that the law has been relaxed, there will be more attempted suicides?
That's an assumption which is not true. Decriminalization of attempted suicide is not freedom to die. It is rather freedom to live. Prof. Akwesi says the difference between somebody with a mental disorder today and someone who doesn't may just be a matter of time.
All right, you're welcome back. Anybody who is going through any issue that they've come to the point where they feel dying or killing themselves is an easier way out, please reach out and let's get you the help you deserve, because there's always a better way. Don't end your life. Get help, and there is help available. Now let's move on to the next story, and it's Galamsey. Now, the politicians want you to believe that Galamsey is under control. They are doing whatever they can do. But the good prof is telling us that indeed the politicians are the ones doing the thing. Do you believe the prof, or do you believe the other people? Well, me, I'm just a medical doctor. So let's look at the medical perspective, because that's really what Medically Speaking is all about. And yes, there is a medical perspective to this whole thing called Galamsey. If for nothing at all, look at the color of the water in the rivers. You've all seen the trending videos and the trending pictures about the water from the various rivers across the country. It is that bad. Ghana Water has been complaining about the turbidity in the water for donkey years. Nothing seems to be working. people are just paying lip service to this issue, we really have to make a stand for ourselves, because indeed in the near future we are literally going to have to import water just for drinking, and that's going to be terrible, because even as an outcry, we are not even we can't afford to pay the bill. So imagine if you have to import, and that's a reality that can actually occur. So we really have to pay attention. But we are already seeing even more severe issues, more damaging issues that are not being captured. They are still under the radar, and that is malformations, fetal malformations. The number of babies being born with deformities has significantly increased, and that is a serious cause of concern. And if the authorities are not going to pay attention, we need to whip up public interest and drive the agenda for them to pay attention, because our children are going to pay for these things. Those of us who are already old enough, as we keep drinking water from these water bodies, with the toxic levels of chemicals, mercury in particular, it's going to build up in our system, and eventually we are most likely going to see increases in some cancers in our lifetime. So if you're not concerned about your life today, think about your children coming up after you. I'm going to show you some images of babies born just this year with significant deformities. Most of them do not even survive. These pictures are a bit gory, so viewer discretion is advised. Imagine carrying a baby for 9 months only to lose that baby to a deformity. It is not the best experience for any mother or any father for that matter, and so we really ought to get serious. So as you saw for yourself, these are happening. These images are from health facilities in the mining areas where Galamsey is actively going on, and so it's important that we pay attention, because disaster is looming. They are recording an increased rate of kidney disease amongst children and young teens. So it is a reality, and it's happening. It's creeping gradually. Pay attention. You might not be bothered now, but you really ought to be bothered, because it is coming. We have to face it squarely. And so if we have to support the good prof to make this stand, well, that's what we have to do, because somebody must speak up, somebody must stand up. Our lives are at stake. Now let's move on to the next story, which is focused on abandoned CHPS compounds. These are health facilities that have actually been completed with installations done and just left to rot. These videos I'm going to share with you were actually sent by interested parties who watched my first episode, loved what I was doing, and decided to send me images of what's going on in their communities. And these are images of real CHPS compounds that have been completed, but no staff, nothing, just left to rot. Look at the weeds that are growing all around the thing. These are facilities that could be serving the population, could be providing healthcare for the population. If not for politics, if not for lip service, why have they not been operationalized? These are from the locals who are saying that they were built for this purpose and have not been operationalized. Abandoned projects cost us millions, and we really have to put an end to it. Our health needs attention. And in our final story, Arsenal, oh my word. So you guys went out and drew your last 3 matches against lower ranked opponents in terms of form and in terms of being positioned on the league table, and you thought you had a chance against Manchester City. Now if you watch my first episode, I spoke about how Arsenal can break your heart, and so when you're watching an Arsenal match, you need to have your emergency physician by your side. You didn't believe me, so you went and actually watched the City match expecting something different. Oh my goodness, Charlie, why don't do that. Next time you are going to watch an Arsenal match, make sure you go with your live support, so that you don't break down, because that's what Arsenal will do to you. On paper, they still have a chance of winning the league, but you and I know that where City has reached there, 2 games in hand, it's not possible. So medically speaking, if you're an Arsenal supporter, this is the time to make sure that your health insurance card is not dead. Make sure you have renewed it, so that at the end of the season you don't have any unforeseen circumstances. So guys, thank you very much. This is Medically Speaking, a current affairs program with a health twist. I hope that you've got some information. My charge to you is that let us demand better accountability from the people that we have put in position, who actually need to do their job and do it right. We shouldn't allow certain things to go just the way they are going, because indeed our lives are at stake. If there's an emergency right now, are you sure that there's a health facility that is well equipped to deal with whatever emergency you're going to experience? That is how you need to think. Let's fight a better cause. Thank you very much, and remember to subscribe to my channel and share this feed, and let's build a community. Together, we can make a difference.